I don't really know, to be honest with you, because
Where's your level of
on a
confidence
scale of
on a
one
scale of one
on a
to 10 being
scale of
10 being like, yeah, he's going to take us all the way, or one being we're almost tanking through the rest of the season.
All right. Um, Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Knights Sportsnet podcast. I'm G. This is Hunter. Are gonna we're gonna be going over the game against Kent State and the game against Boise State, in preparation for the upcoming game against Villanova, who's 2-0, just like us. Yeah.
Luckily,
Yeah. I don't know how. Honestly, last game was very close, and we lost our QB for a month. So Villanova might be a more interesting game than we think. But
which is surprising to hear, because if you were to look at the schedule beforehand and now you look at it now, it's just like, now how many games can we actually win versus how many games can we win before when we had Plumlee?
yes, yes. Anyways, might as well start it off. I don't know where we can go. We have a ton of notes for this episode. We could just
Why don't you start off with passing since we just talked about Plumlee?
okay, yeah, you're right. So, passing, my personal opinion, I would say the first game, Plumlee was a little inconsistent with passing. He did throw a few interceptions. Um, However, and he was more of a runner the first game instead of just like only runner. However, my argument and my take is that I think he actually did decent passing in the second game, and he also led the team in. Did he lead the team in running? Yeah, against Boise State, I think he was one of the leaders in rushing as well. So, in my opinion, I think there was a good mix between throwing and passing. I mean, he threw for like 244 yards, 272 yards, went 6 for 24. He did great, and he would have had two touchdowns, and except our receivers in the red zone kind of choked. But yeah, I think Plumlee, honestly, probably one of his best games as a Knight ever since he joined the team last year. I mean, I don't know if you have any differing opinions with that, but
I think there's a difference between what you saw on the screen versus when you go back and you look at the stats. um, Obviously in person, like when you're watching the game, um, you would see the creation of offense that he made with his legs and with his arm, and he didn't do that terribly. And to your point, like he had a pretty solid game, but when you look at the stats, and if you didn't watch the game at all,
yeah,
you see the two interceptions,
that's a good point.
which wasn't necessarily his fault.
Not at
He
all.
had great
Not at
balls.
all. Those were painful to watch.
It,
Those were painful to watch.
it was painful to watch, but like you said, I kind of agree with your point where he had a great game. He had a solid game before he got injured. Um, Hopefully, a safe recovery. Prayers up to him.
Yeah, for sure.
He did play a good game. I
He also scrambled a lot too. I in the first
and
game
that I think
against Kent State, he didn't really move in the pocket. This game,
no,
he
and I think that was a big problem for him though was his scrambling, which is it's fine. I mean, he right now is the leading rusher on the team by 1 yard. So and with UCF having like the number UCF literally has the number one rushing like core in the country. Like
yeah.
they're leading in yards per game and with 627 I believe. And so that's a pretty big deal. Especially with 1 week out until we go into conference play after this game versus Villanova. But a big thing was that even though he's such a great runner, there's also consequences to that because he will sacrifice his body,
Yep.
and he didn't really have anything that stood in the way of that until this game, and he learned his lesson that maybe sometimes it's good to just run out of bounds
Well,
and let the clock stop.
well, the thing is with that though is last year he ran out of bounds against Cincy and he got a concussion. So my thing is,
Fair.
you could okay. I've been saying this for a while, and so has my dad. Slide.
That is good
slap.
because you can also get a targeting penalty, which should have been called in the game, in
I
my
think that
opinion.
should have definitely been called.
Exactly. I mean,
The announcers thought otherwise, but
who cares? I
yeah,
mean, when you're an announcer, you have to have an unbiased opinion. But
yeah,
let's be
fair.
honest, his head went head to head with the other guy.
Yeah,
That's targeting in
no, that's
anybody's
targeting
eyes.
for sure.
But yeah, I he played a solid game. I don't really have any critiques with how he played, other than um, as a quarterback who, if he wants to go to the next level, he has to learn different skills like sliding and moving out of bounds and just being able to throw away the ball at the right time and not, you know, just make poor decisions and then end up getting hurt.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think definitely he needs to be able to trust his receivers in the red zone more. So like Javon Baker and Kobe Hudson. I mean, Kobe Hudson had 134 receiving yards, like probably one of his best games in yardage. I mean, he only had 5 receptions, but one of his best games um, in yards gained. However, there was a pass that he should have caught in the, with inside 10 yards to score. And same with Javon Baker. So I just think that lack of um, confidence in the red zone from the wide receivers definitely goes into the trust aspect of, can JRP trust um, his wide receivers? Um, yeah. But other than that, I think JRP did a great job, and hopefully he's back quickly. Um, yeah, I think though there was a question on here that I had that we talked about before this. We were talking about rushing. Okay, we know that Harvey and Richardson are a great duo, right?
Solid.
Solid. Okay, right? Like last year it was Bowser and Harvey. Now it's like Harvey and Richardson. In Kent State's game, they averaged total average between them yards per rush was 8.5. Um,
Hmm.
this game they both averaged 66 yards like total um, against Boise State. However, one question that I have, because we were leaving UCF's game, and
Versus Kent State, we weren't in Idaho. Just
versus
want to put that out
yeah
there.
versus Kent State. We were leaving the game against Kent State. Me, you, and Jordan, and we were walking. And when we heard this guy on the phone, he was like, "Yeah, bro, like RJ Harvey's going to league. RJ Harvey's going to league." Both of us looked at each other and were like, "No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's not." But at the same time, I feel like we said that in the moment because from the way it looked from our perspective, RJ Harvey didn't look as strong in the first game against Kent State. But like now, since we see that we're the number one country for rushing, number one team in the country for rushing.
Number one country, USA.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think RJ Harvey has the potential to go to the NFL?
That's a tough question because of the fact that the first game, yeah, but I mean, he had a great game against Kent State, but at the same time, it's Kent State. We
Yeah.
haven't. I feel like that's a question that you might want to go back to when we go into conference play, where we're playing against Kansas State and we're playing against Oklahoma. How is RJ Harvey going to fare against
Yeah.
teams like that who are known for being in the top 25, who are known for solid defenses? Like, how is he going to fare against them?
That's true.
Because we honestly thought that Boise State was going to be an easy W, which it didn't. Shout out to Colton Boomer.
He's going to the league. We'll talk about him later.
But I think that he has potential to grow as a runner. There's still some things that he needs to work on. Um, but at this moment in time, I think if he's going to the league, it would be like a late round, maybe undrafted free agent. I mean, Isaiah Bowser was a great player for us, but he didn't end up getting drafted, I don't think, at all. I think he was an undrafted free agent signing by
Right.
the Bills.
Right.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember if he's still on the team. He might be on the practice squad, but he was a solid dude for us, and yet not he's not like a well-known name in the NFL. Maybe not yet,
Not
but
yet.
the same thing can go for Harvey. I mean, he's taking the next step this year as being the leading rusher, and that's great for our running and the confidence that Gus Malzahn has in our running offense. But as of right now, I don't see him as somebody that can be a top guy for an offense in the NFL. He might be a third, fourth guy, but
Yeah,
as of right now, in this moment, I have not seen enough for him to be that level to be in the NFL as of right now.
yeah, true. I will say this: UCF kind of has a history with running backs of like they get to the NFL, but they're only on the practice squad and they don't go any further. So like I think of guys like Adrian Killens. Adrian Killens went to like the Eagles, like the 49ers, the Steelers. He bounced around a few teams, but he never like truly got in the game as running back. Or like Storm Johnson, like way back in the day when we won the Fiesta Bowl. Storm Johnson was great at UCF, but the thing was is that kind of like how you were saying, the competition, like we were at the time we were in the AAC. We weren't playing against big schools like Alabama or Auburn yet. Like we played against Baylor and we beat them. Um,
That was one game.
that was one game though, and that was at the end of the season. And um, most of those guys actually moved on once we won the Fiesta Bowl. But Storm Johnson signed with the Jaguars and never really got any playing time. I think that's important to note though with RJ Harvey. I think you're definitely right. I mean, I think he's a late rounder. Um, yeah, we definitely need to see what he's like against like Oklahoma, Kansas State, like um, Baylor, those kinds of schools for sure.
I mean, I referred to it in our first episode where I had spoke about how the Big 12 is known for running backs, and
Yeah,
we're stepping into a new season where we're gonna see just how well UCF is gonna play against Big 12 teams, and we've already touched on it about how productive the run game has been. But once we step into conference play, are we gonna stay to that level or are we gonna dip down? That's the question that's gonna be answered along with, can RG Harvey really make that next step
yeah,
and be the top dog? Especially now with Plumlee being out for like, as long as he is right now, what the timetable is, can he be that leader to step up? Because that's another factor that a lot of NFL teams look for in their next running back choice in the NFL draft.
yeah, 100%, 100%. And you also got to think of Richardson as well. I mean, I think he might be a little underrated because he wasn't really seen much last year. However, Richardson is our leading like running back rusher. Like JRP is our leading rusher, but like
By 1 yard.
by one by 1 yard. Um, but Richardson has really stepped up his game too. Um, but yeah, let's see here. Mm, what should we talk about
That was
next?
a lot. I mean, I'll kind of go. Uh,
Big 12 scores.
well, I'll put a before we get into Big 12. Um, I'll put out a question. See how you feel about this.
Oh, okay.
So we just talked about the run game,
Yeah.
and we've been big on the run game.
Okay.
As big as the run game is, do you think that Gus Malzahn will eventually kind of shift to more of a run dominant offense, especially with kind of the struggles we've had with wide receivers, with the drop passes that we've had?
Mm.
Do you think that Gus will move to a more run dominant offense, or do you think he'll stick with a more balanced offense where receivers will get involved, even though they've had those troubles?
Well, I think we definitely already are a run offense. Um I honestly kind of saw that transition last game against Boise State. Like Plumlee was getting the ball out. Well, okay. Well, now you got to think about
Yeah,
Plumlee's
no, this
injury.
is another factor is
Yeah,
you have Timmy McLean stepping in,
yeah,
who I went back and I looked at his stats. He didn't have any stats from last year, but when he had stats from USF, it wasn't very promising. I mean, he did throw for almost 2,000 yards. However, with Plumlee being out, does he just stick to handing off the ball, or does he try to balance it out and give everybody touches? Because, another thing is like we have all these receivers, but we also haven't seen people like Whitmore. What I sorry if
With
I
more,
huh
with more.
Whitmore.
Yeah.
Okay. Chauncey Magwood and Corey Gamage, whatever. I'm
I
bad with
said
names.
Gamage in the first episode. I think
Gamage.
it's
That
Gamage.
sounds so like
Gamage is
elegant.
like
Gamage.
Gamage is like that sounds French. I don't think he's French. I think it's Gamage. The guy,
Who knows? We're not here to make
the guy on
assumptions.
UCF football updates said Gamage, so we'll go with Gamage.
Okay, we won't make any assumptions. We'll just stick with that. So those receivers haven't really got involved that much, and
Oh,
so
you're forgetting about Xavier Townsend. Xavier Townsend as well.
well, I included him in like the main guys.
Yeah,
So
okay. The main core.
yeah, and so but like, will we see more of just handing off the ball, or will just give him the reins and be like, yeah, throw the ball, throw as deep as you can, see how far you can go.
Hmm. Well, I will say, I think it's gonna be more of a run offense. I think we're gonna go back to it. If I'm being honest with you, because um, our best rusher, Plumlee, is out now. So now we need Richardson and Harvey to step up their game just a little bit. And um, Timmy McLean, he got a few throws in the Kent State game at the very end, but that was at the end of the game when Kent State didn't really care anymore. Like we were already up by 50, 40, 50 points. Um, and I think it's going to take some time for McLean to get some chemistry with Hudson, Baker, or Townsend, who, by the way, I have no clue why Xavier Townsend did not play last game. He had he had a touchdown and over 100 receiving yards in the first game, and he got like one reception or two receptions against Boise State. Anyways, I digress. Back to my original point. Um, I think, yeah, I think Malzahn's gonna go the run. To be honest, that's my short answer.
So, and bringing it back, how well do you think McLean will do stepping in for John Rice Plumlee?
That's a good question. I think, uh, I don't really know, to be honest with you, because I have
Where's your level of
on a
confidence?
scale of
On a scale of
on
one
a
to 10 being
scale of
10 being like, yeah, he's going to take us all the way, or one being or almost tanking through the rest of the season.
I'll be honest with you, 4.
Wow.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just need like it takes time though to build that trust because he's not. He played at USF. USF wasn't the best football team last year. I'm sorry. Like you know what I
No.
mean? Like it just takes unless he like builds a superior amount of confidence, which I hope he does because he's gonna. Okay, well, okay. Here's the thing though. That kind of happened last year though with Mikey Keene. I mean, Mikey Keene came in for a few games, and there was a huge controversy whether Keene should stay in or whether Plumlee should go back. So actually, this is not the first time that this has happened with Plumlee. Um, I don't know. I don't know, but I think it's a 4.
I see where you're going with it.
What do you think? Are you confident in him? Because it sounds like you're confident in him.
No, well, I didn't mean to phrase that way. I'm just giving him a chance.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to just all of a sudden look at the stats and be like, oh, he's gonna just be terrible. I don't think he's gonna be at a level 4 of confidence for me. I think I'll I think I'll go with maybe a 6 because of how well our offense is.
Okay.
I feel like if he just sticks to what he knows and like kind of sticks in the pocket, hands off the ball well, makes the short throws. If he can throw the deep balls, that's
So
great.
play simple, pretty much.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do too much.
Yeah.
Everybody else around him is experienced and has the ability to make big plays.
Yeah.
And so I'm not expecting him to go in there and be a Tom Brady or go in there and
For sure.
be Patrick
For
Mahomes.
sure. Yeah.
I just think that Gus Malzahn, as the games go on, I feel like Villanova is a great example
Mm.
of a game where he can just step in and kind of get his feet wet, see where he's at,
Yeah.
see if he can throw the ball down the field well with our receivers. Hopefully they don't drop their passes because we had
2 key drop passes in the red zone.
Yes.
By both Hudson and Baker, our top two receivers.
Mm-hmm.
So
And we can't have that anymore.
no,
But I feel like once they've watched that game and look at the tape, they'll realize their mistakes and they can fix it. And I hope they do real quick,
It-
especially with playing against Villanova. Villanova football alone doesn't even have an Instagram account. I looked it up. They don't even have an Instagram account.
gosh,
They have
I
basketball.
didn't know you were gonna go there.
They're no, they're great with
Okay,
basketball.
they are great at basketball.
However,
My
football, they don't even have an Instagram page. They're 2-0 in the FCS.
That's true.
They're top 25 in the FCS.
This needs to prepare us well though for the Big 12. I'm telling you though, these receivers have to step it up for when we get
This is the game to do
bigger
it.
competition.
This is the game to do it.
Yeah,
If
100%.
they want to play with the big boys in the Big 12 and prove everybody wrong,
Yeah,
this is a chance to get it all out now and then go into the next week and just dominate.
yeah,
That's what I'm hoping for. And so that's why I think that, my confidence with him is at a 6. I'm not expecting great things. I'm not expecting the lowest of the low. That's why, I could put him at a 5. I'll just give him a little boost because you need that confidence anyways to go into a game and actually be the starter in the first place. Because
yeah.
Gus Malzahn could have given the job to anybody, but he gave it to Timmy McClain for certain reasons. And that's the coach's decision at the end of the day. And so I trust the decisions that he's gonna make. So that's why I give him a 6 in my confidence level.
Okay, okay. I think okay. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see this Saturday at the Bounce House against Villanova, where maybe some interviews. So be on the lookout. Be on the
Also,
lookout.
I think almost all the tickets are sold out for that game too.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, there was a little thing that popped up on USIP's page yesterday.
See, we have that page.
What page?
We have an Instagram page. Villanova doesn't have an Instagram page, so they wouldn't even know.
Oh my gosh, Hunter. Their players would. I'm sure their players would.
I don't know.
Anyways, all right, let's talk about the defense though. I think, and I said this last week, not last week, 2 weeks ago, but again, I think our defense is pretty solid. Do you agree? Do you agree? The first game might have been a little questionable, but that was the first game of the season. Boise State, though, I look back at the highlights, I'm like, we went into the fourth quarter with only 10 points. Well, they did.
Yes and no.
Okay.
The reason why I say that is because I saw some flashes and everybody kind of stepped up. It's a bigger game than Kent State, and they played against Boise State. However, we still need to figure out the line, especially the pass rush, because there were times towards the end of the game where there were some big runs by the QB and the running backs
That's a good point.
that should not have been allowed in the first place. If you really break down the film and not look at the things entirely, like if you really take the time to look at the game and analyze it the way that I do, and you can see the different holes that the defense does have. If I'm not mistaken, we lost somebody in the secondary that was a big key player. I'm blanking on the
I
name,
forgot who it was.
but we lost that.
Wait,
And
like,
so,
wait, like over the offseason?
no, last game.
Oh. I don't know who that could have been.
Anyways,
I
we
know
lost
who
a
that
key
is.
starter in the secondary, and so somebody has to step up there. But that's the secondary. But the pass rushing needs some help
Mm-hmm.
because regardless of who you play, and like I said, and I keep reiterating, the run game by the Big 12,
It's dangerous.
who's going to be able to stop
Yeah.
the people from running all over the field and causing havoc over here in Central Florida? Like, the pass rush is something that needs to be like fixed before we get into Big 12 play.
Yeah.
And that's why I say yes and no, because they played a good game. It was nice. It was mediocre. I mean, granted, the game could have gotten out of hand where we could be losing by 30 points.
Okay, well, we did have a chance to stop them on fourth down in the fourth quarter when it mattered the most, and they ended up converting and then scoring. So, I see what you
You're
mean.
proving my point.
Yeah, and I did.
That's the fourth downs, the
Yeah,
big plays, the towards the end of the game where you got
yeah,
to be giving everything you got. You can't let the other
yeah.
team
And this
have more energy and get past the line.
and this was the backup quarterback as well. So I have a note on here that says need more sacks. We need more sacks. We need more sacks.
Yeah,
We need more sacks. Yeah, I don't know why you're
we. I'm not.
laughing.
I'm agreeing with you. We need more sacks.
Yeah, we do. Yeah. Did we had an interception? See, that's the thing though, is our DBs and our secondaries
Yeah,
better than our pass rush.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
That's why I say
like
yes and
Brandon
no.
Adams, Corey Thornton, they're doing terrific.
Yeah, it's just the line that needs some help
Yeah,
before we get into Big 12 play,
yeah.
which can happen very easily.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's just
It's quick little fixes. It's not anything too terrible. It's not like they're making giant holes all the time.
gotcha.
Anywho, I mean, we got to talk about the elephant in the room with the big leg, the big foot.
Mr. Colton Boomer.
What a guy!
Mr. Colton Boomer.
What a stud!
Oh man. So one of the questions that I had for, the interviews that we're going to be doing soon is going around and asking you guys, who do you think, give us, I know we talked about RJ Harvey, but like give us one player who you think is going to the league. Give us, if you can name one player on UCF.
That's somebody who I might have the most confidence in
Oh, easily.
out of everybody else.
If okay, and I've said this before, because here's the thing. I was a kicker in high school.
Talk
So,
to him.
yes.
Let them know. Let the people
I
know.
I see. I look at Colton Boomer's form and I compare it to the other kickers out there. I look at Boomer's form. I'm like, this is NFL potential. This is NFL potential. Now, was I anywhere near as good as Boomer was? No.
Oh, well, don't say
Well,
that.
my longest field goal was a 52, and I hit it like once. Boomer crushed that 55-yarder, and he went 4 for 4.
Honestly, he could have hit 65 if he really wanted
Oh
to.
yeah, that was good from like 65 easily. And then he hit 49, and then he hit I think it was like 33. He might have hit, it was 49, 55, 33, and 40, I think. 40 was the game winner. 40 was the game winner. So he is easily going to the league.
That was easy.
No doubt about it. I remember last year, this was about a year ago.
Yeah, this is last year. This is a year ago.
Well, no, I'm saying a year ago, like this month. Like
Oh.
it's September 13th. It's September 13th. It was in September of last year. The game against FAU. FAU. I was at TMA for an event, and
Soar Eagle.
Soar Eagle. I was at TMA for an event, and I knew that UCF was playing against FAU. At the start of the game, it was 14-13. UCF was slacking. I had looked at the box score later on. We were up like 35-13 or something, and I saw Colton Boomer 41-yard field goal. I'm like, bro, that's your first ever field goal. That was like his first or second ever field goal in college football. I'm like, immediately when from that moment on, I was like, I know this kid's a stud. This kid's got potential, and
Light work. No reaction.
easily. And my number one favorite thing about him is that he loves Jesus. Jesus over football. Highly admirable, highly respectable. So that's just my thing.
Great leg. What?
He does have a great leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you look at me like that?
Oh no, there's nothing. Nothing. We might have to cut that. He does have a great leg.
Yeah.
And he kicks touchbacks too. Touchbacks are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a kicker. He's got a great leg.
Mhm.
You can boom it from far.
Boom.
Is that your boom impression?
I could go way louder, but my
Gus
dad.
Malzahn, like.
I could go way louder, but Dad is downstairs working, so I'm just gonna chill. But yeah, he's going to the league for sure. He scored, what was it, 12 out of our 18 points.
More than we needed,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
that was, my gosh, what a pickup. I mean, he walked on from Lake Mary too. Anyways, that's all I gotta say about Colton Boomer. Yeah, but do you want to go over some of the other scores from the Big 12? Because I feel like those are important to talk about.
Yes, I will go over some Big 12 scores. So we kind of missed week 1 scores. But I'll go over like the main ones. So TCU lost to Colorado. TCU was a championship runner-up. and they lost to Colorado. Now,
Ooh.
Colorado is a team that
Shador.
they're
Dion.
Deion Sanders is one of my favorite players of all time,
Yeah.
and so I've been watching him coach Shador all the way from high school, and the culture that he's brought into Colorado is inspiring to watch, to say the least. And so, watching that game and TCU coming off the national championship, who lost to the Georgia Bulldogs. Go Dogs, baby! Oh, I can't say that.
Can't say that, bro.
Sorry.
We're on the
Go
Knights
Knights!
Sportsnet.
Charge on.
This is your hometown team.
Yeah, it is. But TCU did lose to Colorado. I don't have that much faith in TCU, but we'll see down the road when UCF plays TCU. Texas Tech lost to Wyoming in week 1. Wyoming is a team that is only relevant because of Josh Allen, and they lost in double overtime. So tough one for the Red Raiders, who I believe they lost in week 2 as well. They did. They lost to Oregon, who was a top-ranked team. However, they did put up a fight against Oregon. They only lost by 8 points. The teams that we should be watching out for, and shouldn't be watching out for Iowa State. Shouldn't be watching out for Houston. They lost to Rice, who played Texas and got dismantled.
Wow.
Wow. Kansas State, we should watch out for. Cincinnati, you shouldn't watch out for. Oklahoma State, watch out for. They're always a dark horse every single year. West Virginia, I'm not really too worried about. I believe we play them at home, so that would be a game to watch too as well. Baylor, even though they are, I think they are 0-2. I believe they are 0-2. They lost to Texas State. That was a weird one. Texas State shouldn't have won, but they did anyways by more than 10 points. But they also lost to Utah, who was a top-ranked team. I believe number 11 as of right now. I believe they were number 11 and lost on a missed pass interference call. So yeah, not too much to worry about as of right now. We'll see developing the weeks, but that's what we got so far around the Big 12.
Nice. Yeah. I'm super excited though. I mean, Big 12, I mean, I know we talked about this last episode, but the Big 12 it's going to be scary though, I'll be honest with you, especially with JRP out, but we'll see what happens.
We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, anyways, we got to get going because some people are here, but thank you so much for tuning in to this second episode of Knights Sportsnet. Stay tuned for more. Be on the lookout for some stuff popping through on Instagram. Be on the lookout for us at the Bounce House.
And if you guys have any questions or comments or things you want to see in further episodes, feel free to let us know in the comment section. Feel free to tag us in any posts. Feel free to hit us up on our socials. And yeah, can't wait to see UCF. Hopefully, actually, they will win against Villanova. That'll be my lock of the week, is that UCF wins against Villanova.
UCF, we should win against Villanova.
If we don't, we might not have another episode. I'm just kidding.
Nah, bro, we're going to have another
episode.
I'm kidding. Okay? It'll take time to develop the offense and the players that we have now. I think we're going to win against Villanova. The Bounce House and the energy of the Bounce House is going to scare them.
Yeah, it's nothing you see in the FCS.
That's true. Anyways, peace.